Slow down, you move too fast. Gotta make the morning last. Kicking down the cobblestones, looking for fun, feeling groovy. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-dum, feeling groovy.
Well, good morning or good afternoon wherever you are. Welcome to the bridge. And we've got a great guest today for you. And we're going to get started in a minute, but it is episode 105 today. So that must be our lucky number, huh? Uh, anyway, before we have Betska introduce herself to us, Sandy, have you got a quote?
I do. Our quote today is from Paulo Coelho, and the quote is, when we strive to become better than we are, everything around us becomes better too.
Ah, very good.
Yeah, yeah.
Excellent. Love it.
So we have Betska K-Burr, correct?
That's
With
correct. Yes,
us
yes.
today.
Good job.
Yeah, thank you. And she is going to tell us a little bit about herself. And we're just thrilled to have you here. Betska and I met on LinkedIn, and she is an organizational consultant. And I'm just excited to hear more about her. So, Betska, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you, Sue. Thank you, Sandy. A delight to work with your energy. Just we should bottle and sell it. That's great. Yes. All right. So, who am I? I've been an entrepreneur since 1991.
Okay.
So that's been a while, and lots has happened since then. You think about when we were first marketing ourselves back in the early 90s, it was through fax machine.
Right, right.
Yes.
So things have drastically changed. And who am I? I'm co-president of Coaching and Leadership International. We're up here on Vancouver Island in Canada, and we live in the same town, wait for it, as Pamela Anderson.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
wow. Okay.
So this is a famous town. It's called Lady Smith.
Oh, wow. Do you run into her?
No, I've never run into her. No. But I mean, she's probably rarely here anyway. She's doing so
Yeah.
many amazing things in the last couple of years.
Well, you get to
And
be infamous, right?
yeah, there you go. So, who am I? I am a executive and life coach. I'm a super consciousness coach, and we'll talk about that.
Sure.
What the heck does that mean? And I'm a trainer. I've developed over 80 coaching methodologies that are half of which are ICF accredited, and then I just developed a new divine healing system, which is even more powerful because the way the planet is going, there is so much crime and violence and negativity, and you just look at in the news every day, and it kind of, I don't know how young people even handle it, right? I mean,
Right. Looks
it's a lot.
hopeless. Yeah, it looks hopeless.
It is, yeah, exactly. And then we have a lot of star seeds who have come from other planets to help us out, but they're getting lost. And so I developed this new divine healing system to help people raise their frequency, raise their vibration so they can better handle all this stuff that's happening on planet Earth, so they can stay grounded, be at peace, find their real mission, not just a superficial
Sure.
mission and so on. And I'm an author of many books, so I might as well throw that in there.
Oh, yes.
Because we teach coaching as
Mhm.
an ICF accredited school, our students get a major textbook. It's called The God in Coaching. You can see that.
Yes.
It's a hardcover, 450 pages. It's huge. And it's all about the science of turning our negative thoughts into positive thoughts,
Mhm.
if I was to simplify it. But there's a big science. It's all about the chakra systems. It's all about we have 100 trillion cells in our body. What do they do?
Mhm.
And everybody talks about blocks. Well, where are the blocks and why? Where did they
Mhm.
come from? And how do we get rid of them?
Sure.
Because that's really important. And then, so I think I've written 7 books, something like that. And my latest one is I Heal Me.
Okay.
And this one is filled, it's got 22 tools in it for people who can't afford to hire a coach or a therapist,
Mhm.
and they want to heal some of their traumas and their wounds. And it's a wonderful book. It's filled with artwork as well, because when people are remembering their traumas, and every one of us has got traumas, right? When they're remembering their traumas, it pulls them down. Well, the artwork lifts you up.
Ah,
So I solicited artwork from around the world. I forget how many countries are represented in here, but it's a cool book. And it even comes with a journal.
nice.
So people can record what they discovered in when they were using these healing tools that are in the book.
Mhm.
So anyway,
Wow.
and I'm a grandma.
Oh, congratulations. How many grandbabies?
One and one on the way.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
good.
You have a
Yeah,
girl or a boy?
a boy.
Oh, boy, what's his name? Henry. Okay. Oh,
And
wow.
Is
and
he
it's the
close in
most.
proximity? Is he
What?
close in close proximity so you get to spend some time with him?
No,
No, that's hard, isn't it?
the other end of the country, but that's okay. Thank God for FaceTime.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's for sure. That's
And we
for
do get to visit. Yeah, I mean, they
yeah.
fly here, we fly there,
Yeah.
Good.
Well,
Um,
being a grandma is one of the greatest jobs in the world.
I never, everybody told me, you're going to be amazed. And I thought, can't be.
Yeah.
It
Right.
is, it is the
I
most
know, by far.
important role I've ever had.
Yeah. Well, my oldest granddaughter, who was singing the song, by the way,
I was wondering who sang that. It's
and
beautiful.
she just turned 22 yesterday. So
Wow. Wow.
yeah.
Wow. Wow.
So no, it's one of the best journeys in the world. I mean, I guess we had to have our kids before we had our grandkids, but
Well,
it's not quite the same experience.
it's interesting because I thought being a grandparent would just be natural, but you kind of have to relearn it. And early child education is my background, but I had to kind of relearn anything. But one of the beauties is that my one daughter, I would think with my 2 daughters, I was the first one to give each one of the babies their first bath.
Oh, how exciting.
That was
Oh, how exciting.
little slippery baby, trying to hold on to it while you're soaping it up, soaping the baby up. But it became my honor to be able to give each one of my 7 of my grandbabies their first bath. So
Oh,
that was a very cool thing.
I'm sure you've seen this, Sandy, in your as an easy, early childhood educator and so on. That our daughter sent us a picture of Henry at daycare yesterday, and they were doing yoga. They were
Oh,
they
really?
were already doing yoga, and he's not, he turns 2 tomorrow, right?
Oh man,
oh,
was he
awesome.
participating? Was he having fun with it?
Yes, it was great. I mean, they're just what I'm saying is that the ECEs today appear to have a wonderful education. I mean, I used to really revere places like Montessori, for example,
Right, right.
where they even taught the kids meditation, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And they had plant-based foods and things like that, right? So anyway, I'm just delighted with
Mhm.
how advanced some of these daycare centers have become. Yeah, I'm sure
Yeah.
you're thrilled too. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, and the thing that I notice is 20, well, I've been coaching for probably 25 years. I mean, I was a school principal for years, so
Ooh.
I was coaching all the time as a teacher leader. But
Yeah.
um,
Would have been.
I remember back when I first started coaching outside of the school that it was almost a dirty word if you were going to get a coach.
No way.
Well, yeah, I mean, if the coach was coming in, then the story was in your building that you were in trouble.
Wow. 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 Wow.
And so nowadays the word coaching is out there. People love it. They,
Yeah.
it doesn't have the same taste in its mouth. People are much more accepting of it.
Yeah, it's just like when you went to a psychiatrist there was a stigma around going to a psychiatrist 50, 60 years ago, or, like you said, coaching or counseling. And now it's a very important part of people's healing.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, and as you talk about what your books are about, it's really resonating with me and remind me of all the new, it isn't new, but it's called new brain research about
Yeah.
reprogramming our brain. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
also hearing that you connect the high frequency of energy around it too, which is
Mm-hmm.
kind of another realm. I mean, they're very,
Yeah.
very similar, but
Mm-hmm.
the energy is so important, because if you
Yeah.
can get to a higher frequency, you're not in the same place as
No.
lower
No.
lower
That's
frequencies.
that's right. And we're leaving the Kali Yuga era. I'm sure you ladies are familiar with that. We're entering the new golden era. And so we definitely need these new frequencies. And a story is coming to my mind, and I talk about it in my book, I Heal Me. Um, Actually, it was the young man who came forward. He he started hearing voices at the age of 4. So hearing voices, and he was listening to the voices and so on. And so his parents started to freak out, and they, took him to psychiatrists, psychologists, and so on. And they diagnosed him with schizophrenic affective disorder. And it's one of the most serious diseases in the world.
Right, right.
He could not function. I'd work with him online, and I'd see him face to face and so on. And he was lost in this world of who is my real self? Like, who are these voices and so on.
Mhm.
Anyway, he ended up in mental institutions a couple times, and then somehow he found me as the guru coach. And I worked with him on and off, and he will tell you, and he writes his testimonial in the book to say that, and it was his teacher, by the way, now I remember, his teacher recommended that he come and see me because she had undergone the science of mind kinetics, which is what I've developed. Anyway, Gavin is his name. He's a delightful young man. Now, tell, you could not tell today that he had schizophrenia.
Mhm.
And I'm sure there are still remnants of it, but he's out there working today.
Wow.
And in his quote, he said he's very grateful to all the therapists, the psychiatrists and psychologists and counselors that he worked with. But he said, the person who helped me the most was Betska, the guru coach. And the reason for that, and I'm telling you this story, Sue, because of this, our understanding today that it's not just about the brain.
Mhm.
It's about the cells and understanding where the cells are vibrating at a low frequency in the
Mhm.
body.
Mhm.
They could be in the neck. Yeah, they could be in the brain, but more than likely they're in one of the organs or in the back or somewhere.
Mhm.
And so the trauma is not stored necessarily in the brain. The trauma is stored in the cells. So
Mhm.
the science that I developed and the new science that's coming in, we're starting to teach it next week, is really understanding where in the cells are those vibrations, those low vibrations stored, and
Mhm.
how do we lift them to a higher vibration. So, and that's what we did with this young man. And we use color, we use animals, we use nature, trees and rocks and crystals, we use light therapy, sound therapy, we use every imaginable therapy that that has the right frequency. We use it to help people. And as a teacher, I'm sure, as a principal, Sue, you must have been. Well, let me ask you: were you often, or how often? I should ask a coaching question. How often were you afraid for the students in your school that maybe they wouldn't get the right help?
Oh, personally, I witnessed it. You know, we had some really disturbed
Yeah.
kids,
Mm-hmm.
and they were disturbed. But then when you meet their parents, the parents are very disturbed,
Mm-hmm.
and you know the line into what their future was going to be was often, I mean, you could
Yeah.
predict what was going to happen,
Yeah.
which was very, very sad.
Yeah.
And it was often you didn't have the tools you needed to help them or the
Yeah.
resources.
Yeah. And you know, I'm very happy to say that many of the therapists today are understanding all about frequency and vibration, and they're seeking tools to not just help these young people or young adults to cope, but to help them get out
Mhm,
of that
mhm.
negativity. Right? It's so vital that they become normal functioning humans in
Right,
society.
right.
And the only time, in my experience, the only time when I can't help someone, well, there are two times. One of them is when the people cannot make decisions on their own anymore. So they've gone beyond, which means they do probably need some chemical support.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm,
But then the other one is where the people are um, they are so low with their karma. Their karma,
mhm,
the the negative beliefs in their body are
mhm,
so much higher in number than their positive beliefs that their own vibration is very low.
mhm.
So they keep making the wrong choices over and over and over again.
Sure.
And most of the time we can help them, but if their karma
Mhm,
is incredibly heavy, then no, they have to get into some kind of a very heavy meditation practice.
mhm.
They have to really dedicate themselves to helping themselves versus
Yeah.
going to a professional. Yeah.
When you talk about frequency and kind of being stuck in negative frequency,
Yeah.
do you have an age where um, kids can, you expect them to have some personal agency, you know, ability to make, is there
Mhm.
kind of an age where that sort of comes about, or do you have an opinion about that?
I do have an opinion. So, two things. One of our coaches from Guangzhou, China, he came to visit us on Vancouver Island to study, and um, and his 3-year-old was having some anger fits, and he didn't know what to do about it. So one of the tools I developed, and this is free to the world, by the way. I might as well put this on your air. www.thebrainwalk.com.
The brain walk?
Thebrainwalk.com. It's more than the brain. It's all about walking through your cells, free of charge. And there's a story around that. When I developed it when George Bush attacked Iraq, and I was so angry at all this bloodshed that was there, that I developed the brainwalk, and then I went to co-president John, and I said, "Look, can we make this available to the whole world?" And he said, "Yeah, free of charge. Anybody can go there and do it." And so this gentleman from Guangzhou, China, I said to him, "Why don't you take your young son and get him to walk the brainwalk map? It's a colored map. It's like walking through a rainbow." Because it's walking through all your cells.
Mm-hmm.
And he would, and as a 3-year-old, he was having trouble walking the colored map. Didn't matter. He calmed down every time he did it.
Hmm.
So that's number one. Number two, if a child is, and it depends on their mental awareness
Mm-hmm.
and how intelligent they are and so on. Excuse me. But and it's usually the mother, it can be the father, but the mother holds the spiritual energy in the home because she has a noble quotient of 1 or 2% higher than than men. It's because we have the ability to give birth. Anyway, so the mother or the father can be the surrogate for the child.
Mm-hmm.
So the mother and the child are on the same call like this, but the mother is answering for the child, but she has gone into oneness with the child. And here's a story that's coming to my mind. This happened a long, long time ago, but a mother came to me and said, I just had a baby, and the baby is crying 24 hours a day. I'm going crazy. So I said, well, and I don't even know I didn't even know what the word surrogate was, but it just came to me. So she's got the baby, and I'm asking her questions, about maybe what happened at the child's birth or whatever. Anyway, the baby calmed down and started to sleep morning and night. So it's because the mother is in the baby's energy field, right? It's like the three of us are in the same energy field.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
So that really works. It's amazing stuff. I don't use it very often, but
So it's sort of like the mother's trauma was transferring to the baby.
yes, could be. But then the baby also had trauma. So
Okay.
example for me, and I can't remember the whole details. It's been
Sure.
so long ago. But when I was in my mother's womb, a man from the village hit my mother, boom, in her tummy. And of course, Betska is the baby, right, in the womb. And what's she thinking? Well, I don't want to come into this world. This world's too violent. Why would I want to come into this planet, right? So I've had to do a lot of trauma work around,
Uh-huh.
you see. So babies can feel trauma.
Sure.
And that's why they say play, high frequency music.
Mm-hmm.
60 beats per minute for a child when you give birth to them, and
Yeah.
meditate in the same room with them, etc.
Yeah.
Do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
and they're in the womb too.
So, Betska, tell us a little bit about your childhood yourself. It sounds like you have a very interesting story there.
Oh, yes, I do. I had a psychic reading, I don't know, about a year ago. And the psychic told me that my mother was my enemy.
Mm. Interesting.
I was shocked. And then I started to think about it, and he was absolutely right. Because, for example, when I was 7, my mother's brother, and they're all gone to another plane now, but when I was 7, my mother's brother sexually abused me. And so I was horrified. You're 7 years old, right? And this guy is playing with you, right? So I went to my mother crying, and when you are distraught, because a 7-year-old knows when something's wrong.
Sure.
I went to my mother, and I was looking for comfort, and I wanted her to help me understand and to, show me some love. And she tossed me away. She would not give me the comfort. No, didn't want to listen. Because she couldn't believe her brother would do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Denial.
Yeah. I just read an article about that yesterday. It was on Substack about mothers not believing their child.
Oh, wow. What did it say?
I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
Well, it was basically, it had a very interesting title, but it was just published on Substack yesterday. And it was about how you would think that the mother would be super compassionate about it. But it's like the opposite. And somehow the shame transfers and how they protect the man, whoever the man is. And it's really twisted. But it's totally up, and it causes people that are abused to become more ashamed
That's
because
right.
they've got no place to go and no nurturing. I mean, mothers are supposed to be nurturers.
Well,
You
you
know,
think about the fact that, for instance, your mom and her brother, so she's not having those kind of memories or thoughts. So she's in disequilibrium. Here's my daughter telling me this. This is what I experienced, and trying to marry those things together are very challenging or difficult.
Yeah.
and then there's the fear of
Mm.
what happens if I do confront the man. Am I going to lose? There's lots of stuff, and then of course all the cultural stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
so.
he could have, I mean, he could have hurt her. I mean, he was, not, he wasn't mentally well. And
Well, and you never know if that was her brother. She could have gotten
yeah.
abused herself by him.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Mhm.
And now that I think about it, or not just now, but over the years, I realize that I believe my mother was abused. And
Mhm.
so, she was keeping all of that angst inside of her and never had the opportunity to have, a super consciousness coach or,
It
No.
was her big
therapist.
secret that she had been keeping. If this is
Yeah.
the case, this is
Hmm.
for the big secret she was living with.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
holding on to secrets like that are so
Well, that
disabling.
unprocessed energy,
Unprocessed. Yeah. Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it gets buried right away and it's
Mm.
confusing. The most confusing age for young girls is like 7 and 8. They say that that's the worst time to be critical or let the dads
Mm.
criticize